Good afternoon. Thank you guys for joining us. My name is Michael Robinson, the Vice President for Healthcare for Omnissa, and we'll get into that in a minute. But I want to give a minute to my esteemed guest here to introduce himself and let the folks know what you do, Jarel.
Yeah, good afternoon, Michael. Jarel Hall, VP of Technical Services, Memorial Hermann Health System, one of the largest health systems in Houston, Texas. Oversee our infrastructure, end-user computing, cloud, and security teams.
Yeah, so Jarel has a very interesting story, and we'll get into that. But we also wanted to share, for those of you who are not familiar with Omnissa, we want to talk a little bit about who we are and our journey. So we like to say we're a 20-year-old startup, and we have been on this journey for a number of times. So our products and services have evolved over the last 2 decades, but at the same time, we are one that continues on the mission of delivering safe, secure end-user computing solutions. As of July 1st, we became an independent company. We were spun out from Broadcom, and now are on our own and proud to be so, and looking forward to a lot of exciting innovation into the marketplace as well. So let's jump in, Jarel. You have embarked upon a journey that was a little unique, I'll say.
Absolutely.
In terms of what you did and what you implemented. So why don't you take us through a little bit about taking on this project of moving from Cerner to Epic, and then also how you rendered the presentation layer in your environment. Let us know a little bit about the thought process between that architecture and also the implementation of that and some of the challenges you had.
Yeah, absolutely, Michael. So embarked about 2 years ago on a journey to Epic hosted. So we were a legacy Cerner platform. We host everything internally. So just from a traditional infrastructure perspective, everything was housed in our internal data center, split between 2 primary active data centers. As we embarked on this journey, one of the things we wanted to do was make sure that we revolutionized the delivery of the EMR, but also maintaining operational balance. So as you kind of see articulated on the screen, kind of 4 areas of concern that we had. How do we migrate from the legacy platform to new platform seamlessly? So we did that in 2 phases. We had 47,000 users that we had to ultimately migrate. That was done across 2 waves. So how do we maintain availability of the current EMR as well as delivering a new EMR at the same exact time? So again, the Omnissa platform allowed us that flexibility from an end user perspective to not introduce new technology along the way. So from our support teams to be able to support that on the back end, the users to be able to consume it, a familiar look and feel of accessing the EMR as we made that transition.
So some people might ask you, Jarel, were you a little anxious about this move from Cerner to Epic, and then from on-prem to hosting, and then talk a little bit about the presentation layer and why you made the decisions around the architecture?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. We knew that technology was going to be one of the forefront topics as a part of the transition. So really wanted to make sure we minimize the amount of change for the organization, allowing clinicians and end users to focus on training and learning the new EMR. So again, from a ubiquitous interface, we use Workspace ONE to deliver the application, both Cerner and Epic. So that helped ease that challenge around change management. In addition to that, when you actually look at delivering beyond Epic, right? So we have a whole ecosystem of applications that we were entitled to deliver to our consumers. So if you look at that, we made the decision to deliver it from our own data center. So we actually have Epic hosted at the back end at the Epic data center, and we house the application tier ourselves, which is kind of an unconventional approach from the traditional client, because I have a larger ecosystem of applications beyond just the EMR that not only had to integrate, but also had to be served up to our consumers as a part of the transition and beyond. So when you look at that, from a back-end skill set perspective, we really wanted to look at the total cost of ownership and not using that as a true buzzword bingo, but really, what would it take to train my team, deliver 2 different brokering solutions, the change management associated with the look and feel of the application. So again, just taking all of those different things into account, down to even training materials, my help desk, the support teams on the back end, what they're entitled to do from a disconnecting, resetting session, just a lot that goes into the value proposition of delivering an app that has real material, soft and hard cost.
And how did the EMR vendor kind of view that when you told them that this was the architecture that you wanted to?
Yeah, it's mixed reviews. I think there's a proven pattern that they've always run their implementations with. We were able to convince them that we're experts in delivering the Omnissa platform, both the Horizon platform as well as Workspace ONE,
Right.
through rigorous testing and kind of proving out the methodology. I think we've got them bought in holistically, and we've reached all of our benchmarks from a login performance perspective, sub 8 seconds for our clinicians, which is remarkable in the healthcare landscape. So again, I think we've made believers out of everyone.
And what about the integrated platform? So Omnissa brings both the Horizon platform from a presentation perspective, but also gives you the flexibility and agility around Workspace ONE. How did you guys evaluate that, and why was that important to maintain that platform integrity?
Yeah, great call out. We had to be extensible. So we have an affiliate network that's also a part of our delivery model, that these are non-employed physicians and front desk staff. So I had needed a platform that not only could be extensible to the external consumer, but also portable for our internal use cases. So if you look at the Omnissa suite, your traditional Horizon published desktops and applications, that's kind of core enterprise delivery. When you go outside of that to external identities, that's where it really takes off. So serving up Workspace ONE, being able to virtualize applications, no matter the delivery methodology, whether a web application, published desktop, published app, that entitlement, it has a ubiquitous look and feel to my internal and my external customers. And that was key for me.
Yeah. So we're going to pop, again, it was a very ambitious project and over 30 months, but why don't we talk about that deployment model and kind of dig in a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you look at anyone here familiar with the Epic kind of landscape, hyperspace is the entry point to the EMR. So for that, we had to get letter of the law, right? Get that installed, delivered, published as an laptop or an application within a desktop. So we use the Workspace ONE portal. We have that front end with MFA. So again, from an external identity perspective, we're securing the front door, as well as delivering, again, that ubiquitous access method for remote access. Underneath the hood, we have desktops and applications. We also use the MDM product, which I believe we'll touch on here in a second.
Yep.
And then again, I have that bridge between two active data centers. So one of the unique things that we did as a part of the project as well was adopt Workspace ONE in the cloud. So we did a parallel build out, and we were able to just migrate over the devices and the user experience, maintaining the on-prem legacy environment, and basically just decommissioning it right before go live.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that. So, in terms of cost, and like we said, cost containment was a huge part of this decision. Talk a little bit about the journey on the migration and,
Yeah, absolutely. So as you made
because I talked to you like the weekend after you went live, so it was good.
It was. I was on a lot of coffee. So cost containment, as all of us here in the room are aware, healthcare has tremendous pressures around cost containment. So when we looked at the contract and kind of total value of ownership, I factored in the two tiers: people, processes, and technology. So we had a lot of processes already established around maintaining the Horizon suite. So again, no cost, kind of cost neutral there.
Right.
If you look at the processes, we had automations. You can do simple things like call my help desk and press a number on the automated attendant to reset your desktop session. We've already built in some of that automation. So again, we didn't have to refactor a lot of the process on the back end. And then again, lastly but not least, the technology itself was inherent. So we established new VDI pools. We published new applications, new entitlements. So a lot of that was just run-of-the-mill work from my back-end operations team, as well as my network operations center from a monitoring perspective. Right. So from a people, process, and technology, we remained fairly cost neutral. And then obviously the EMR overlaying on top of that was the change management that we were able to focus on. So if you look at that in the total landscape of the project, the challenges became more technology enablement than they were technology focused on how do we get this to work.
Right.
It was how do we optimize it? How do we make sure that's sufficient? Again, login times, really focusing on that. And then if you look at the total integration of the platform, we really wanted to go with an out-of-the-box experience. Anyone here that's run and delivered Epic, they know they're very scripted in their approach to their methodology of deploying the platform. So we didn't want a lot of customization around the delivery of the application. So again, if we could be out of the box as much as possible, that was my goal.
Okay, that's great. And you touched on this, but it was also important around the integrated platform. So let's talk a little bit about managing that wide array of devices that you guys have at Memorial Hermann.
Yeah, one of the value propositions of moving to Epic was the mobility aspect. So everything from med administration to charting to Haiku, everything from an end-to-end clinical care continuum, mobility is definitely a value add as the transition to Epic unfolded. So if you look at our fleet, we're no different than the average enterprise. We wanted the centralized management of all our mobile devices. We have about 15,000, a little bit more than that at this point, that range everything from fleet vehicles onto your kiosks, your tablets, your iPhones. So again, a new phenomenon for the system. While we had mobile capabilities before Epic, the workflows and the inherent kind of benefits of mobility really took off as a part of the migration. So again, in that parallel build out of Workspace ONE in the cloud, I get that extensibility to manage those devices no matter what network context they have.
Right.
So a part of our design strategy was we not only rely on internal Wi-Fi, we have a subset of the population that is enabled with cell coverage as well. So again, no matter where the device is in the world, as long as it's on a network, we can administer it, push policy to it, wipe it, govern it holistically. So again, with an influx of new mobile devices, that was key for our environment.
Yeah. So you say both the advent of the new EMR and your mobile device strategy kind of complemented each other, or Epic kind of helped you build out a more robust approach to that, or?
Epic was definitely a driver. The Rover product, the Haiku product being used internally, we did that at Go Live, definitely was an accelerant. That introduced about 9,500 of those 15,000 devices.
Oh, wow.
So again, it was a definite driver for the quantity. And for my team, which it was fairly lean from a mobility management perspective, we wanted a central way to administer that platform. And again, we needed that reach. The hospital networks are borderless at this point.
Right.
For anyone that in here that is on the customer side, whether it's the biomed networks, your PCI networks, your network segmentation, the ability to traverse different network contexts and manage those devices without compromise was tremendous value to us.
That's great. Can you talk about some of the use cases that it enabled as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll talk about what the benefits are, but I'm just curious about how you went about prioritizing use cases.
Well, we all know it starts with the provider. So our clinicians and our providers are the tip of the spear. So we have a big uptick of Haiku, which is the personal device use of Epic. We have Rover for our clinical staff. Again, med administration, charting, secure chat, tremendous benefits for them from a day-to-day care perspective. What that introduced for us was, again, just challenges in volume. So for a staff that can't keep eyes on glass 24/7, managing that type of device, you need to be sophisticated about the technology you adopt. So what Workspace ONE has enabled us to do from an MDM perspective is policy administration at scale, again, without network context being any level of care and focus. And then from a prioritization perspective, I can now group in policy based on use case.
Right.
So when we have quality of service from network perspective, MDM profile, security, PIN, challenges, MFA, all of those are now dials that we can tune up or tune down the pace depending on the device type and its use.
That's great. So, this is the money slide. And so let's talk about some of the key benefits realized as a result of this and, what Memorial Hermann is not only in the near term, but what are you looking to do long term?
So tip of the spear again for healthcare customers, cost efficiency. And I need to underscore that cost is not only the cost of the actual product, but the downstream impacts. You think about very simple things such as printing out documentation for end users. We didn't have to do that, right? We could just say, hey, you've gone into the same way you've always consumed the applications. You're just going to see a new icon with the letter E on it, right? So simple things like that at our scale can be tremendous cost savers. So you think about everything beyond the product itself, training, documentation, the change management of actually onboarding trainers to get people used to the new workflows, the delivery of it. Then you get into the core infrastructure. We were able to repurpose some of our existing pools as a part of that ramp up and ramp down. We did have a dual access period of time there. We had 2 waves for my inpatient and my outpatient staff. So again, the challenges there and just making sure that we're cost neutral of not introducing another brokering technology to deliver that ubiquitous experience, no matter which EMR you were going to at the time. Long term, again, that's our challenge for healthcare at large, right? So how do we make sure that cost is top of mind and drive that down? So again, as you start to look at how do we have a more premier platform around our delivery model versus the best of breed niche products.
Right.
So that's a big focus of our organization. How do we consolidate? When you look at the interoperability, the ability to have telemetry between the systems, right? So I'm driving policy over here, I'm administering over here, I'm hardening here. If I can do that all under the hood of the same product, one, I have levels of guarantee that they're going to maintain that interoperability over time. And B, I'm also probably guaranteeing myself a price point that'll be consistent and maintained versus off-cycle renewals and off-peak, one going consumption, one going subscription, perpetual. It's just a lot to keep up with in a very busy healthcare climate where you really need some simplicity.
Yeah. What about the service and the number of tickets and things like that you've had to do? Was there any reduction in that, or more improved efficiencies, and how?
We're definitely seeing a huge reduction in the amount of our just traditional operational support. As I mentioned, we introduced new VDI pools that in itself has yielded some benefits. We added a performance tier to our VDI pools, so they're just performant to support the EMR. Our login times was a big focus. We introduced a new single sign-on product that helped kind of make that more of an efficient process.
So your logons are world-class, right?
They're world-class. Okay. So Epic has some pretty stringent benchmarks. We were able to meet those for both the private and the shared workspace. So it's a huge revolution for the organization and tremendous reception so far.
Okay, great. Anything else that you want to add? We have a couple minutes to take questions. If there are any questions in the audience.
Yeah,
so the question was, okay, go ahead. You got it.
Yeah, I got the cue. So the question was that we explore public cloud as a means to deliver Epic, and what does that mean for us? The answer is yes, we did. A couple different reasons. We wanted the extensibility and scalability from a core infrastructure perspective. And we are also right now currently evaluation of delivering the application tier there for business continuity and just that scale out. So delivering it on-prem, again, back to that cost optimization, it's a part of our tier journey. So we will continue to kind of explore and expand that way instead of doubling down on the investments on-prem. From a back-end infrastructure, the cloud providers that we were entertaining have now been certified to host Epic in their public cloud. So that, again, will be evaluated. We're in partnership with them to evaluate what that benchmarking looks like from a GREFS perspective, if you're familiar with kind of how they measure things. So yeah, definitely not off the table. We view cloud and Memorial Hermann as an accelerant. So we're cloud opportunistic. We're not necessarily hard charging toward this cloud first narrative. We've got way too much data locality needs, and we have some security considerations that we're always top of mind. But I definitely think for our application delivery tier and extensibility, it will remain in our roadmap. Any other questions?
Can you touch on a little bit, since you brought up security, in terms of what this implementation does from a security perspective? Were there any concerns in terms of having the kind of Epic in the cloud and the presentation on-prem? Anything that you specifically that you had to deal with? Or?
Yeah, I mean, we've been able to modernize across the board. So whether it's Workspace ONE from a front door perspective, enabling more MFA for our affiliate network and making that a ubiquitous experience, both from a consumer experience and a security lens. Right. So again, not a separate set of security products to maintain and manage for external identities and personalities. Even our offshore developers live in a very segmented network from an app delivery perspective. So again, just making sure that we were able to deliver it in those lenses. I think in addition to that, when you look at the security profile of any EMR, it's only as tough as its weakest link. So when you look at the app pools, the delivery methodology, the portal in which you can consume it, the protocol in which it's delivered, there's just a lot of inherent security benefits to the Omnissa platform, and we've leveraged for years.
Yeah, well, we applaud the courage and the innovation that you've demonstrated in the marketplace. We appreciate the partnership and look forward to continuing that going forward. And Memorial Hermann, I think for those folks in the audience, is a great use case of how you can have your cake and eat it too at the same time. So thank you very much, Jarel.
Absolutely. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah. My friend. Thank you.